What's up guys, Miss Pass here back with another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes commentary video, and today we're going to do a little 2-for-1 here. Gonna recap the Logray and Wicket events. Mostly doing this in a 2-for-1 because I realized that when I was doing my Papalu video that I really didn't have a whole lot to say, so I figured I would talk about the two of these yahoos together in one video, one place for everybody to just kind of get their fill, because while I probably won't have a whole lot to say, these are the two most useful, in my opinion, of the Ewoks that we got. Papalu was useful, yes, as a tank, but he's not a critical piece of the Ewok puzzle in order to build a good Ewok squad. Yes, Papalu, like I said, he's going to be good, but when you're talking about using like Chief Chirpa as a lead, Chief Chirpa will call all Ewok allies and one other ally, so you can use a non-Ewok tank and still get the desired results that Papalu would deliver if you were to just gear up Papalu instead. I think General Kenobi is probably the best tank in the game, so I would probably still be using General Kenobi with my Ewoks. So, any rate, let's talk about Logray real quick. Logray has a very useful kit. When it came to Ewoks, you used to only have T-Bow to strip buffs, and now you've got Logray to help with that as well. You can never have enough buff removal on a squad, so having two characters capable of stripping buffs, always a nice thing. And not only that, but Logray is also inflicting daze on the entire enemy squad, which is nice, like you just saw there. Daze is one of those buffs that not a whole lot of characters use, but when you use it right, daze can be absolutely devastating to an enemy squad. And then having AoE daze on top of that is extremely nice. His other special is extremely useful, giving out foresight and offense up to the Ewoks. I've long mentioned that the Ewoks need damage, and it's imperative that you have Logray in your squad if you're running Ewoks so you can get that offense up, because offense up is going to be a huge help in making sure that your Ewoks actually do the damage that is going to be necessary so that they can out-damage most of the big meta squads out there in arenas. If you want to have any hope at all of running Ewoks in arenas, you're going to have Logray. That is just it's a mandatory. Like I mentioned earlier with Papalu isn't going to bring anything to a fight that for Ewoks that another tank can't do. However, Logray is going to bring pretty much everything that Ewoks need in foresight, offense up, and then stripping buffs, along with also giving daze, which is just an extra bonus for Ewok squads. Basically, Logray is a very important piece of the Ewok puzzle. And another thing to keep in mind is that when I'm talking about how useful these characters are, these new Ewoks are, they're really only useful with other Ewoks. These characters are extremely niche. You're not going to be able to use Logray outside of an Ewok squad with any significant success. I don't see Logray being that useful outside of an Ewok squad. Wicket, maybe, because he has that targeted assist call that we'll talk about, but I really don't see him showing up outside of an Ewok squad either, because let's face it, there are other characters that do what Wicket does better. You don't need a character that, can do $10,000 damage on a special and does $6,000 damage on his basic. That's a Gear Max. Look at my Ahsoka doing 16,000 on a basic, and then her special does friggin' insane amounts of damage. So when it comes to these Ewoks, you got to keep in mind that these Ewoks are really only good with other Ewoks. And that's just the sad truth of it. Bottom line, versatility is not there when it comes to these Ewoks. Coming back up off the downer there for a sec, let's jump right into Wicket. Wicket is the much needed DPS that the Ewoks don't have. Let's face it, Ewoks just... I mean, okay, so I actually did look up SWGoH.gg, or as Warrior would call it, SWGoH, and Papalu lands himself right there at the very, very, very bottom, dead friggin' last of all the characters based on basic damage. Papalu's basic attack literally does the least amount of damage in the game. No joke. So when I'm talking to you guys and I'm saying that Ewoks don't do any damage, I'm not lying. I'm not lying at all. Ewoks literally do no damage. So Wicket here, on the other hand, actually does a little bit of damage. His basic attack does a decent amount, and his special does quite a bit more. Now, the special is nice in that it does put him and an Ewok ally, granted you call an ally to assist, into stealth, which does help, based on his unique, does boost his damage a little bit by increasing his special. I think it's either his crit damage and crit chance, maybe? I don't know. It's been a while since I've looked at his abilities, but anyway, so it does help. However, it's really only useful for calling one Ewok, Teebo, because no other Ewoks really get a bonus out of being put into stealth. And let's face it, how many other Ewoks are gonna go into stealth on their own? None. None of them. So that special and his unique really only work if you're boosting Teebo, you know, calling Teebo to assist, and even then, it's like, you know, you're calling one Ewok to assist, and if you don't have Teebo in your Ewok squad, then what are you gonna do? I mean, yeah, you can call Ewok Scout to assist, but Ewok Scout doesn't get any bonuses from being in stealth. Only Wicket does. So, yeah, and then, okay, and then his unique has the anytime Wicket scores a critical strike, or anytime, and I think is it just Wicket? I don't know, it might be just Wicket, but anytime he scores a critical strike, every Ewok ally gains protection and health up. Okay, cool. You know, it's nice because his basic has that chance to, you know, to make him attack again and all that. But in the long short of things, you know, when you're thinking about it, it's, I don't know. I like Wicket a lot when compared to other Ewoks, but by himself is not anything incredibly special because his abilities depend on Ewoks. That's the problem with the Ewoks right now, right? So Ewoks are great because Ewoks work together. They work together very well in a squad, but the problem with the Ewoks is that they only work together in a squad. So when you're talking about Wicket being awesome, Wicket is awesome by himself in very limited doses. Wicket is far superior when you group him with other Ewoks because he provides turn meter with his special AoE. You know, anytime he crits, he gives all of his Ewok allies turn meter. He is one of the fastest Ewoks, so that's another thing that he's got going for him. So potentially opens up with his AoE, gives all the other Ewoks turn meter, and kind of sets the ball rolling that way. But in the grand scheme of things, you're still going to need an incredible amount of speed on all of your Ewoks for them to sustain that momentum in an actual arena fight. So when it comes to Ewoks, yes, Wicket is cool, Wicket's great, and yeah, Logray's pretty cool too, you know, you can't diss on Logray that much, but when it comes down to it, the Ewoks, as a unit, it's, you almost need 6 of them to actually be good, but you are limited to a 5-man squad, you know what I mean? So Chirpa, you gotta have Chirpa because, let's face it, Chirpa has the best leader ability of any of the Ewoks. You have to have Ewok Scout because aside from Wicket, he's the only Ewok that does damage. You have to have Wicket, right? So that's you're up to 3 Ewoks right now, and then you have to choose a 4th. You gotta choose either Teebo, Logray, Ewok Elder, or Poplu, and then you have to pick a 5th. So you have to kind of, you're limited, and it kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I still think General Kenobi is the best alternative to Poplu, so if you're gonna gear a tank, gear up General Kenobi. Anyway, guys, that about wraps it up. Thanks for watching. Like, favorite, subscribe. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter. And of course, join my Discord server to continue the conversation, and I will catch you later.